Welcome to the Alsco Uniforms It Pays to Keep Clean podcast, where we discuss industry best practices, celebrate big wins, and share stories about Alsco's growth journey. Good morning, Amanda. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thanks for joining me. Amanda Frye, and I wrote down your title because it doesn't roll off my tongue quite yet. National Sales Operations Supervisor.
Yes,
is that correct?
that is
okay.
correct.
So let's start first just with a little bit about your journey through Alsco, and then we'll come back to that title and kind of what that means and what your day-to-day looks like. So Tell me about your history with Alsco.
Great. I will be with the company 19 years in July.
Okay.
I started off as a CSC at the Indianapolis branch. I held that position for 5 years, and then I started as an RSA or the SOS.
Yeah.
Now, I held that position for 8 years, and then I've been in my current position for 6 years.
Since then. Okay.
Yeah.
So you still live in Indianapolis then, or that general
Yes,
area?
yes,
Okay.
yep.
And so that CSC role is, I'm sure that's changed a ton, just
Sure.
as the role that you currently
Mhm.
hold didn't even exist back then.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
So you've seen a lot of changes within the organization, and we're going to talk about some of those changes this morning. So talk to me a little bit about what your supervisory role is now. What group do you oversee, and what is their general function?
Sure. I lead the SOSs for the West Coast. In general, my focus is to guide them in our processes, data entry, and things of that nature, just kind of guide them so that we're staying consistent across the board.
Okay. And so SOS is a fairly new title.
As of January.
Sales Operations Specialist,
Specialist, yeah.
and it was Regional Sales Assistant.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So a fairly new change, but not really a lot of change in the job role. Is
Right.
that right? Okay. So as a sales support function,
Mhm.
and this is a role that you had obviously when we had a much smaller sales organization,
Yes.
but what does that how important is that to the sales organization? What are their kind of key roles? And
Sure. I always say that the SOS is the heart of the sales team.
Yeah.
They really provide that behind the scenes. Similar to what I do, they are ensuring that the processes are being followed, and that could be anywhere from onboarding to ongoing training.
Right.
And then they're also, play a huge role in our accuracy and our data. So,
And it seems to me it's kind of is behind the scenes, but it's also kind of the foundational layer. It stabilizes the
Yes.
sales organization,
Yes.
right? So that
Yes.
the sales teams can get out there and be in the field, but we're still not sacrificing,
Yes.
if you will, kind of some of that data integrity or data accuracy on the back end. Does that
exactly.
sound right? And so you mentioned Salesforce. That's the product,
Mhm.
obviously, that the sales organization utilizes in order to capture all of their activity as well as
Yes.
put prospects through the funnel. We'll have been on Salesforce. Is it 3 years in May? Something like that?
I think we're closer to 5.
Is it? Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's been a little while.
Okay,
Yeah.
so something dropped off the map there for me. Talk a little bit about that as a tool, and has it kind of met the promise of what we had hoped when we moved from sales now into Salesforce?
I think so. I'm kind of passionate about Salesforce.
Okay.
The last 2 years, we have really tried to. We've really tried to. What do I want to say here?
Standardize?
Yeah, I think more streamline. I think that's
Okay,
what I'm trying
yeah.
to say. Streamline our war report into Salesforce. So initially we had started up with just the sales consultants entering their data, and now we're moving towards getting away from manual reports into Salesforce.
Make sure that tool, you really
Yes,
get
utilizing.
leverage that tool as much
Yes.
as you can. And I'm imagining a lot of sales consultants come in with Salesforce experience.
Yes.
Is that helpful or hurtful?
It can go either way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is incredibly helpful because they bring more to the table that they've experienced at previous companies. So that is nice. But sometimes it can be not very beneficial because they have brought that into the previous
They have an
experience.
expectation.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and I it's always funny to me because Salesforce is a platform, and if you think about it as an application,
Mhm.
then you can be headed down a bad path, right?
Yes.
So because you have an expectation about the
Mm-hmm.
overall flow and
Mm-hmm.
the features, but it's highly customized in order to meet
Yes.
Alsco's needs. And so
exactly.
it may or may not be exactly what they think that it is.
Yeah, anticipated.
Yeah. So are you still, how involved do you get as a supervisor? Are you mostly communicating directly with the SOSs throughout the day, or are you getting involved in other parts of the sales process or discussions with NSMs or RSMs?
I think mostly with the SOSs, but we do have a close relationship with the RSMs, the NSMs.
And so over the last few years, really since I guess October of 24 maybe was when, or 23. So it was all of 24 and 25 when we kind of started this ramp up of the sales organization, which then led to this split between West and East that you and Melissa Mead now share.
Yes.
So the sales organization has gone through kind of this explosive growth over the last 24 to 30 months. What has that meant for not only your role, but your team?
As the NSOS, so, initially when I started, I had, the entire team. And as we've grown, like you said, we've divided the East and the West. I don't know if it's really changed that much. It's just been divided, I guess.
So every year is a little bit of change.
Yeah.
So you have 8 people that are direct reports to you now. And then what does their kind of workload look like? How many SCs are they supporting typically?
Typically 30 to 35.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a large team. And their roles, similar to what I do, they're supporting their sales team with, the consistency of the processes, like I said, the onboarding and things of that nature. So
the accuracy of the data in the background, answering lots of questions.
Exactly.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's almost customer service coordinator, but with an internal group of customers.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a great way to put it. Yeah.
So when you're hiring for new SOSs, how do you because it's a little bit of this analytical, detailed data role, but an awful lot of customer service too. Right. Sometimes that's difficult to find within the same package. How do you go about interviewing for that, or kind of
for that role?
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't have a lot of turnover.
Yeah,
SOS role, which I'm grateful for. But you are looking for somebody. My number one is patience. If they can be patient. And understanding and listening, I feel like that's an underrated skill. So I'm definitely looking for those qualities in a person.
Yeah. So. And it can be difficult, I think, to determine that through any interview process. It can be, you think you're asking the right questions, but you kind of figure that out. So it's good to hear that you don't have, again, as that kind of a support and stabilizing role within the sales organization. It's great to hear that you don't have a lot of turnover.
Right.
So let's turn our sights to the other side of that, which is just, hashtag true facts that sales organizations, not just Alsco, but sales organizations in general, tend to have quite a bit of turnover. And so how do you advise your SOSs around managing through that
turnover?
Yeah.
I think just being prepared.
Yeah.
We can generally anticipate that turnover. So I think just being prepared and ready for that new person and that onboarding. We've really, over the last few years, really streamlined the onboarding and the HR part of their role. So I'm grateful for that. And I think just keeping that process consistent has helped. So
and as that, for a couple of years, I think a lot of the onboarding was new allocations, right? New people, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. And then of course you start to see a little bit of churn. So hopefully things start to stabilize.
Yeah,
and,
I think so.
Again, having it be a little bit predictable is helpful for your group. So the SOSs work with branches, they work a lot with the regional sales managers, occasionally with the national sales managers, and then obviously the SC. So they've got a big group of people who are potential callers on the cell phone at any point during the day. How do you think that those groups of people that they are serving, how can they best kind of work with or cooperate with the SOSs to get the best result, the best support?
I think clear communication consistently.
Yeah.
And just having that partnership mentality.
Right.
I think that really helps across the board, and it helps them to be effective and help them be more effective in the field.
Do you miss having that direct role, or are you happy in your supervisory role?
I love my role. I do. I love my team.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to have a very talented, hardworking team, so I'm super grateful to be a part of that. But I do miss that one-on-one with the SCs, and what they bring to the table. So.
Well, maybe some of them will start forwarding calls directly to you.
They might.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you want to share, or goals that you all have for this year, or anything that you're particularly excited about?
We continue, like I said, the last couple of years, we've been very focused on our Salesforce and how we've implemented the War Report into Salesforce. That will continue to be a focus for us.
Yeah.
So just excited to see where that goes.
Yeah. Great.
So,
well, maybe we will chat with you after, see what comes next.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Good morning, Melissa. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right as well. Happy to have an opportunity to sit down and chat with you for a little bit. So, Melissa Mead, National Sales Operations Supervisor. Did I get that right? Okay.
Yes.
And is that a recent title change, or have you and
Yes.
Amanda held that title for a while?
So we recently changed the title to kind of just to be more modern, to make a little bit more sense for what we do. It was the National Sales Assistants.
Okay.
We weren't assisting we were assisting the sales team, but we wanted to kind of modernize it, grow alongside Alsco.
So your title and Amanda's title changed according to that, and then also the group that you supervise,
Yes.
the SOS absolutely rolls on the Sales Operations Specialist.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes, and their title change actually prompted ours.
Right.
They were regional sales assistants for
Decades. Yes.
And as Alsco has grown so much in the last couple of years, over the past few, we've just noticed some confusion really in what they're there for, what the purpose is, and their role has, over time adapted, and the title just didn't adapt with it.
Right.
So we felt like it was just a good time with all of the new faces in sales and everywhere. And we feel like sales operations as a team just makes more sense for what we do.
Right. Well, and I don't know if it was purposeful, but the SOS, because you are there as a support/help function, kind of is
I'm going to take a little credit for that. When I was using ChatGPT for help with ideas, and I came across that one, I was like, we can do so much with SOS, and it fits perfect. So I definitely was it was a group decision, but I was really pushing.
Advocating.
I was strongly advocating. Good. That's a good word.
Well, it's kind of fun just to imagine new titles anyway. And then it probably gets boring at a certain point. You're like, okay, now we just need to make a decision.
Yes.
And sounds like you got there. So before we move any forward in that, let's back up a little bit, because I know you have a long history with Alsco prior to your current role. So let's talk a little bit about how you got into Alsco and what role you've had or have, and then kind of where you are now.
Yeah, so I have had the best opportunity of being able to grow with Alsco. I started Alsco when I was 23. I was a regional sales assistant. I was introduced to the role through my dad, who worked for Alsco for many years. And, from there, I just really, Trish just kind of took me under her wing and mentored me. And, over time, I just kept growing along with it. When I first started with Alsco, I was single and a couple years out of college, and now I'm married with children. And
things change fast.
And so it's been such a great I'll be at 10 years in June.
Okay.
So it's been a
Was
great
it a
decade.
remote role when you first started, or were you working in a branch?
It wasn't.
Okay.
I started out in the Orlando branch.
Okay.
And when I met my husband, the same year actually, I started working for Alsco is when we started dating. He's active duty military, and we've moved, and Alsco has been amazing.
Yeah.
And has really just every move that we've had to make, I've been able to make work within Alsco. So we moved to Orlando, Jacksonville, North Carolina on the coast for a bit, and now we're in Virginia. So
Well, and I think Alsco, your role aside, I think Alsco is pretty good about
amazing.
allowing people to make some of those changes or finding a different role for you that might fit once we find somebody who wants to be here,
Absolutely.
But whether you knew it or not, you fell into the perfect role because
Yes.
over time, as that has grown and now you're in a supervisory leadership position, kind of everybody's remote. So
yes, with, COVID kind of helped
yeah,
push that along as well.
See, something good did come from that.
And it really was all just perfect timing. But Alsco has just been so supportive and just such an amazing company. And I so look forward to what our team can do in the future.
What can come next.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that transition from being an RSA at the time to then moving into a leadership position. How did you know you were ready? Did you think you were ready? And kind of what were you hoping that would look like?
Yeah, I had been an RSA, at the time for about 8 years. And I just got to the point where I was really just, I want more. I want to do more.
Yeah.
I have so many ideas. And, so I spoke with Trish and I had never in a million years thought that I would be in this role, but I just had expressed to her that, look, I think I'm ready for something else. If there's anything open, let me know. Between her mentorship and then she had offered to, we had taken some management courses and things.
Oh, good.
And it kind of was a full circle moment. I remember when she interviewed me, she had asked, where do you see yourself in 10 years, something along those lines.
Right.
And I remember saying, actually, I would love your job, what you do. Ideally,
if I could be so bold,
I would love to do that. And so when she came back and her and Ben, had offered the position, I got a little emotional because I was like, I'm going to be the national sales assistant.
Right.
And Trish was the national sales assistant when she asked me that question. So,
well, it sounds too like that. So your, move into management kind of came at a good time too, because the sales organization, as you know, has just kind of wildly expanded and exploded over the last few years. So that, opportunity meeting experience is kind of exciting to watch.
Yeah. And it's been amazing being along for the ride. And the last, I'm on my second year in this role. And I've really gotten the opportunity to kind of explore my interests a little bit more. I really do love looking at processes and systems and saying, how can we make this more efficient?
Right.
How can we make this better? What can we do? And so it's just been really great to be kind of along for that expansion because, as our sales teams grow, we need more of that. We need to
absolutely
adjust what we've been doing, and we need to maybe revisit some things. And is this the best that it can be? And how can we improve that process? How can we make things easier and more efficient for the field so that they can spend less time dealing with, internal complexities and more time in the field?
Right. Yeah. Getting them back out to the real value added activity as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
Makes good sense. And for your team as well, you want to be as fast and efficient and accurate as you can so that you all too can imagine different areas where you might be able to participate or improve or take some of that burden off of the sales consultants or the RSMs. And you can't do that when you don't have time.
Exactly.
It's impossible.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's one of those, Amanda and I have really built a team of, individuals that just really enjoy supporting and what can we do to make it better and how can we help? So it's almost easy,
So how many direct reports do you have? 8 or 9? Or
so I have 9.
9. Okay. Any open positions, or are you where you need to be?
Not yet. Not currently. I think we've, last year we grew a lot as well in the support. And so we've got a really good group, between Amanda and I, she has the West Coast, I have the East Coast.
Yeah.
And no, everyone we have on our team is just really solid and great. So unless sales expands more.
Right. You should hopefully be able to hold steady here for a little bit.
Yes.
So one thing Amanda and I talked about, and then just anecdotally, I know as well, is that each sales operations specialist is responsible for so many sales consultants, 20, 30, 35, somewhere in that. How do you guide your team through being able to manage? I mean, not that you hear from everybody every day, but the possibility is there, or maybe at certain points like end of a month or end of a quarter when everybody's kind of anxious to see things resolved. How do you work through that with your team?
I always encourage a proactive mindset versus a reactive mindset. So we kind of, over the years, you notice a cycle within sale. I'm sure everyone does, but you kind of start to pinpoint when can you anticipate those days where everyone wants to call at the same time. And I always joke that it's usually when you're sitting down to eat lunch.
Right.
But you start to anticipate that, and then it's what can we do to be ready for it. So, something Amanda and I both do towards the end of the month or end of the quarter, we start reaching out, start looking at the numbers. Do you have SCs that are close? The ones that are, far exceeded their goals, usually they're great.
Right.
The newer
and
ones.
they won't be as frantic about it not that they don't care, but they're not going to be quite as panicked about getting over the line because they're already there.
Exactly. And the newer ones, usually the RSMs, they have a really great grip on it. But, the ones that are real close, what can we do to help, right? Like, let's dig in a little deeper ahead of time. And so when we get those calls, like, oh, that's perfect, because I actually was already looking.
Right. I was reviewing and kind of had some ideas or thoughts about that's
and
great.
And then just on a day-to-day too, like what can, how can we build a report or create a process to help with our checks and balances, like as I like to call it. So it's just being ready and anticipating their needs.
Yeah. So I know there's been a lot of enthusiasm about Salesforce and the increased adoption of it, and now kind of getting the WAR report, which is the big report. You all get involved in so many things, but that's kind of the biggie of what's required on a weekly basis. A lot of enthusiasm about getting that natively in Salesforce now. How is that process going?
So it's been a challenging opportunity. It's been an adjustment. So our reports, so when I started, I inherited a computer from the previous sales assistant. I have WAR reports on my computer from 2006.
Okay.
And when you look at those compared to what we had been doing up until last year, not a whole lot of changes.
Oh, wow.
Not a whole lot of changes. So it's been really a challenge for all of us, trying to, align where it makes sense. Now that we've kind of gone live, Amanda and I are behind the scenes constantly. We still, we want to make sure we're triple, quadruple checking everything. But it's been an adaptation for all of us, the sales consultants, RSMs, everyone, to kind of reframe how we've looked at something for decades.
Right.
And it's been fun. It's been really, we've learned so much. And I think, once it's all said and done and we kind of get past the growing pains, things are starting to align where it makes more sense. We're not redoing work that in multiple different places. We can truly look at Salesforce as our single source of truth.
With the expansion of the sales consultants and sales team in general, because we've had a lot of new RSMs too, as that group has grown. And I know that your team is involved in a lot of the onboarding, some of the training for Salesforce, et cetera. How has that seemed to have calmed down a little bit? How much do you feel that you all need to be involved in the onboarding? And I know our goal is to have tenured sales consultants that are just out there getting it done, but there's always going to be a certain amount of turnover.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been good. Last year was, kind of a challenge for us. So to our team, we had also added 5 new SOSs as well, because we had to expand along with the sales team. So it was a learning for everyone. It was everyone getting just their feet under them.
Right.
This year, what's been really great is I think it's really evident that our sales consultants, RSMs, and our SOSs are all kind of at a point where they have their feet under them and they have a good foundation. And now we have the opportunity to kind of dive in. How can we learn more? How can we do better?
Right.
And so as our team is developing and feeling better, they're being able to find their own ways to help better.
How do you, so the SOSs are working a lot with obviously the sales consultants, the RSMs, branch personnel occasionally, probably the NSMs as well.
Yeah.
How do you think that the people that they serve, so the sales consultants, RSMs, et cetera, can best kind of leverage or take advantage of the services that your team provides?
So I think the best bet is really just to ask for it. I think the biggest thing, like early communication is the best. I always, when I was in that role, I always urged, the RSMs, the SCs, loop me in.
Yeah.
CC me on the email.
Right.
Just because there's so many times where we kind of get a little forgotten about that.
Right,
We can help and
sometimes maybe forgotten about until it's urgent, and now it's harder for you to catch up.
Where we could have maybe avoided a problem.
Yeah.
And just remembering that sales ops is a resource.
Right.
And Amanda and I are always driving that our number one role is supporting.
Right.
That's comes above everything. So we want to be supportive in any way. And not just for sales. Like I said, we work a lot with the branches as well. We're here to support, and just remembering that.
Right. So clear, concise communication, and include it early if there's any chance that you might need me later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. That's a good note, I think, for us to end on. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Yes. It's been nice to get to chat. I see you occasionally, obviously, a few times a year, kind of waving here and there. This is the longest we've sat down and talked.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed this.
Okay. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
That's all for today's episode of the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of Alsco uniforms, where we explore the growth and challenges in our industry. Tune in next time for more industry insights, growth strategies, and tales from the field. If you've enjoyed our time together, please leave us a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you want to learn more about our services, visit us at alsco.com. From all of us here at the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast and Alsco Uniforms, thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay clean, and we'll see you in the next episode.